back with some traffic tips to keep you moving.
And we'll find out when LA school children will be headed back to the classroom in just a minute.
Here's a special offer for NC.
Been trying to bring that bridge down without success, making today's explosives necessary. Demolition of that bridge will allow Caltrans to continue work on that $1 million improvement of an alternative route for Interstate 5 from Weldon Canyon Road to Calgrove Boulevard. That alternative route should be available to commuters by the end of the week.
I'm sure most of you felt them. The aftershocks continue to rock the Southland and rattle our nerves. Seismologists in Pasadena report 3 strong aftershocks happened last night and early this morning. The trio of quakes were felt strongest in downtown L.A., Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, and West L.A. At 12:45, a 3.7 trembler shook, followed 15 minutes later by a 4.0. The most recent happened at 6 this morning, a 3.4 aftershock. Now, since Monday morning 6.6 quake, the Southland has felt more than 1,500 aftershocks. The strongest, a 5.1, shook us on Wednesday.
Maybe we're just getting used to it, but only felt one of those.
Well, I felt 2.
Did you? Okay. Are the schools ready to reopen? LA Unified looks at the damage and says they'll be ready for business this week.
Many stores in the valley are hoping they'll be open for business this week, too.
And Southland churches do what they can to reassure people with quake-rattled nerves. There's more news right after this.
Teachers and administrators are to report for school. Tuesday, schools that have been determined to be safe will open. Other schools will reopen only when they've been made safe. Today, U.S. Secretary of Education Richard Riley and FEMA Director James Lee Witt were given a tour of Kennedy High and given an update on the destruction. Witt says it will cost more money to reopen schools than originally thought.
We're going to go back and ask for more funds, advance money, to try to get the money in the school hands as quick as possible so they can start rebuilding.
Even when schools reopen, many children may not be returning right away, especially in areas hardest hit by the quake. Many parents will have to be convinced the schools are safe. Also, some parents want to keep their children close to them until they feel confident we will not have another strong aftershock.
It's going to be scary for me. I'd rather have them around me so that if something happens, I can get to them, you know. But they have an earthquake kit at his school that I bought for him.
You know when you're going back to school yet?
No, I don't know. I don't even know if my school's still standing.
Are you looking forward to going back?
Yeah.
Will you be afraid to leave your family?
Yeah, little.
Acknowledging the concerns of parents, federal officials say some of the money they'll be providing to schools will be to get families over the fears. School board administrators suggest to parents, if you are unsure if your child's school will be open on Tuesday, go by the school yourself and check with someone in authority. This is Fred Villanueva, Channel 2 News.
Well, as you just saw, earthquake damage to some LA district schools has left the campuses in shambles. So when will these schools be ready? LA School Board President Leticia Quesada joins us live now with hopefully some of those answers. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
I want to know, first of all, I know this thing is changing moment by moment, even as we speak. What's your latest assessment? How many schools will be open and how many will be shut down even on Tuesday?
Well, we're still looking to finite the number of 100 schools that were heavily damaged. We're also assessing the number of classrooms that are usable and not usable. And we're making tremendous progress. This morning when I came in at 9 o'clock, there were 800 classrooms that were unusable. By 1:30 this afternoon, that number came down to 500. So we hope that by Tuesday, children will be able to actually go to school throughout the district and will not have any fear about the safety at their school because all schools have been inspected.
Leticia, I know the state has said that it's going to be sending some portable buildings to L.A. to help us out. How many and how much is that going to be helping, and when they're going to get here?
The state has said they have 200 portables ready right now, and it will take up to 10 working days to actually install them. Despite the fact that that would be 2 weeks, that's really a miracle of the quickness of the action. So we have told the state we will be coming to them asking for portables, especially for schools like Kennedy that have 40 of their classrooms unusable. So we will need portables for schools like Kennedy and others in similar conditions.
What will we be doing about schedules for this time that these students are missing?
Right. Well, we're brainstorming all those options right now, and especially trying to determine how many children have lost how much school. But among the many options that are being discussed is lengthening the school day We're lengthening the...
1,000 homes and apartments uninhabitable.
More than 10,000 people are still sleeping in shelters and tent sites. And late this afternoon, Caltrans blew up a damaged section of the I-5. This is what it looked like as 400 pounds of TNT brought down an elevated freeway section in the Santa Clarita Valley. It went from a mangled mess to rubble and dust in a matter of seconds. It's official. According to Governor Pete Wilson, the Northridge earthquake has surpassed Hurricane Andrew as the worst natural disaster in U.S. history. That assessment comes even as damage figures continue to mount and the aftershocks keep coming. There have been several today, including a 3.6 at 6:30 tonight. So far, no reports of any damage from today's aftershocks, but inspectors continue to find more buildings that have to be condemned.
Grab a shovel and get the chicken.
The number of ruined, crushed, and crippled buildings rises just as fast as inspectors can check them out. So much devastation, Governor Pete Wilson now says it surpasses anything the country has ever known.
It is larger than Hurricane Andrew. We have had a greater volume of applicants for relief. The reason is pretty obvious. This quake occurred with the epicenter in the heart of a densely populated urban area.
Even some famous structures were hit. The Hall of Justice in downtown L.A. declared unsafe. County USC Medical Center's psychiatric hospital evacuated. In the city of Los Angeles alone, more than 894 commercial buildings are damaged. That number jumps every day. 27 different county facilities are closed, including 7 courthouses. And after each aftershock, the buildings must be re-inspected. Considering we've had more than 1,500 so far, the task is daunting. This morning alone, we had 3 tremors, a 3.7 at 12:41, a 4.0 a few minutes later, then at 6 a.m., a 3.4.
That's very normal for the aftershock sequence decay. It's doing exactly what we expect it to do.
And Hutton warns, brace yourself. They will continue for a while.
The aftershock sequence will be going on for months, and during the whole time period in the future, there's a good chance of having another magnitude 5. But they are becoming less frequent with time.
Caltech seismologists say if you've heard any rumors that a super 7.0 quake is imminent, don't believe them. They put out this blunt statement Saturday. It is impossible to predict earthquakes. End of sentence. Governor Wilson says at this point it's still too early to put a final figure on the damage, but earlier he estimated total losses at between $15 and $30 billion. Dave?
Well, Sylvia, we've told you a lot, but all of